All right, so inference review. There are 15 different inference procedures you should know for the AP exam, except now this year they're going to cut off these last, all of these. Theoretically won't be on there. So now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's nice. So in strategy here, you're going to have the question, well, is there a question? Would I have a test? Would I have a null hypothesis? Or am I simply estimating? That'll be the difference between basically column 1 versus column 2. These are all panic. These are all phantom. And so which of those is it? And then generally, is it P or mu, or would it be then one of the specials? However, all you'll have to do, P or mu, and then 1 or 2 sample. Well, actually, I'm saying and then, but really, those are the 3 things. So 1 or 2 samples, P or mu, and is this an interval or a test? And now normally if you're actually doing a big free response question, it'll be much more obvious which it is, because it'll say construct an interval, or it'll say carry out a test usually. So, number 1, which brand of batteries last longer? So lasting, I'm drawing white. So lasting longer is mu's, and I have clearly 2 samps. Okay. Which lasts longer? Since it says which, I would have the null. So which would be null. They last the same. Alternative, one of them lasts longer. And so this would be a 2 samp T test for mu Duracell minus mu Everready, or something like that. Okay, number 2. A typical teen does this. Is this true at your school? So definitely a test. Is this true? So that's a test. Okay. Has 38 contacts. That sounds like a mu initially. It's not a P, because I have an average, maybe. A typical teen. Is this true at your school? So the mu at my school is 38. Mu is not 38. Be a 2-sided mu. So this would be 1 SAM, because I just am going to check people at my school. T test for mu. Fun, fun, fun. What percent of students, P, not mu, have a Facebook? That'd be interesting. I actually kind of want to know that. Like, what percent actually do still have an account that they've checked in the last year? Interesting. What percent of students at your school, so I just have one big samp, and it's a what percent, so that's an int. I'm going to say I'm 95% sure that between, 20 and 30% of our students have a Facebook. So this is a 1 samp, that's not how you spell samp, z int for P, where P is the true proportion of students at my school that have a Facebook. Is there a relationship between car and my... okay. Is there a relationship between... this is going to be the chapter 11 or 12, because this is not P's or mu's. This is relationship between 2 things. So now the main question is, what type of variable is this? Is the relationship could be slope, or could just be chi-square? So age of student car, that's quantitative. Mileage is quantitative. So this is beta problem. So beta problem is a 1, what is it called? Slope, right. T int for slope. We don't need to know that one long term, but it's good to be able to differentiate. T int for slope. And that's a weird one because, actually not T int, so T test for slope. Because I'm not trying to estimate what the relationship is, I'm just trying to say is the relationship. So T test for slope between these two. Okay. Is the relationship between favorite subject and type of music at a large school? So category versus category at one big sample. So this is a chi-square. Chi-square doesn't have intervals, it's only tests. It's not Goff because I have two different variables and I'm comparing them. Is the relationship between them. One sample is the relationship, so this is for association or independence, not homogeneity. I'm not saying are the two things equally distributed at this. Okay. Who's more likely to own an iPhone? This is interesting. Middle school or high school boys. Who is more likely, not how likely. So this is a test. The null would be more likely. That is a mean quantitative? No, that's a proportion. So the hoe would be proportion of girls equals the proportion of boys who have an iPhone. And then we would test if they're the same. Who's more likely? So we'd assume they're the same and see if there's significant evidence that more girls have an iPhone or something to that effect. So this is a 2 SAM, because we have boys and girls separately. 2 SAM Z test for the proportion of girls that have an iPhone minus the proportion of boys that have an iPhone. The G and the B don't matter. The order doesn't matter. How long do teens typically spend brushing their teeth? How long is an int? Whatever. Typically spend, so this is mu, and I just am going to ask teens. So this is a 1 SAMP. Whenever I use mu, for mu, I should use t, int for mu. Are colors equally distributed in Fruit Loops? Equally distributed, so this is chi-square, but this is chi-square Goff, because I'm just going to compare them to equal distribution. I'm taking one way. Here's the colors I found. Huzzah. Okay. Which brand of razor gives a closer shave? So which brand should be a test, and I would assume they have the same closeness of shave. 25 shave one side with A and one side with B. Oh, so this is like a match pairs thing. So this must be so this would then count as a 1 SAMP, where you take everybody's A minus B. So it's always T when you're doing paired. And I said it would be a test, 1 SAMP T test for, and normally here you'd say the difference. For mu difference, A minus B or something. And that's how you know it's paired. But then if you did this as a test, as a phantom, you could just call it that. You don't have to call it paired, but make sure you don't do a 2 SAMP. How much more affected? How much? I'm going to have an estimate, so this is an int. More effective is exercise and drug treatment than simply drug treatment at reducing something. Okay, so reducing the incidence of heart attacks, that could go either way, but it should be proportion, because you're going to have how many people in each group had heart attacks throughout the study or something like that, generally. Because otherwise, I don't know how else you'd measure this quantitatively. So this should be we have two groups. It's like an experiment. So this is going to be a 2 SAMP. And we're saying a Z int for P. And it would be P exercise minus P drug only, or something like that. And there's some good inference. We should know more about this year's AP exam and what we're going to have to tell apart, but this is a good skill. How do you tell them apart?